I wanted to just tell you a little bit about myself so you could tell where I'm coming from. I come from a very large family. My mother was a special ed teacher back in the days when special people didn't have rights in this country, not even the basic right to public education. She considered it all of my brothers and sisters and my job to help her with that job, and she was their advocate. I think that's very much why I grew up to be an advocate. I happen to have been lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time to help develop and lead the domestic tobacco control movement. It was not an issue that I picked. It was sort of an issue that picked me, but it suited my temperament perfectly. It's the largest moral respite I've ever come across. There's no other issue like it, where all the good guys are on our side and the bad guys are so utterly evil, that it made us feel very righteous beating them up. While I was dragging my kids to all of those state and local tobacco control meetings over all of those years, I kept yapping at them that we were developing some real power tools for social change, and I'll be darned, it turns out to have been true. This stuff is now in the textbooks from which I get to teach. There is no doubt that something really evil lurks about the asthma statistics, both the overall increase of asthma and the concentration of asthma in the most vulnerable populations. I wanted to just speak for a second about the big picture of what we can and cannot change. I want you to notice that the dark purple part of the slide is what premature deaths are due to genetic predisposition. We all carry a genetic load. It constitutes about 30% of premature deaths. Nothing we can do about that, so let's move on. Environmental exposures speak for themselves, and we're getting worse on that score. Social circumstances, that's because wealth predicts health. And interesting, the 10% light blue piece of the pie is due to shortfalls in health care, which tells you disparities are never okay anywhere. But it tells you that the difference between good health care and bad health care is only explaining about 10% of premature deaths, which leaves the big piece of the pie that we can do something about is our bad behavior. And that's why I'm here to talk to you about a power tool for behavior change. And that's what social marketing is. It's the science of behavior change. Now, social marketing is an open source tool. Us social marketers are missionaries for us. We're out to convert the world. We're out to help you be the best that you can be at what you do. Social marketing was developed largely for nonprofits, and it is widely shared among them. There are no copyrights on these materials. They're all available to you. This brief definition of social marketing is from one of its founders, Alan Andreessen, and it was largely founded in Washington, D.C. It's the application of commercial marketing principles to behavior change. So stop and think about it. Nike is great at selling shoes. It's not because they make the best shoes in the world. They're the best marketers of those shoes. Coca-Cola is great at selling soft drinks. I'm told you can get a cold Coke in every country in the world. So while Bill Novelli, a partner at Porter Novelli, was working on selling Coke and selling Nike's shoes, one day a light bulb turned on top of his head, and he said to himself, wait, why don't we use this stuff to sell healthy behavior? So he stopped to think about it. What does Coke and Nike do? They focus completely on the consumer, not on what the marketer wants to say, but on what the target audience needs to hear to take the action that they seek. And that's the frame for everything that you will do in social marketing. By the way, the panel this morning are some of the most natural social marketers I've ever heard the privilege of speaking. I don't know if they would frame it that way. A focus on your target market, also called your priority group, is the absolute centerpiece of social marketing. So here are the 5 basic principles of social marketing, and we'll return to these. First, I wanted to tell you the story of Procter & Gamble and how they distribute their products in Mexico. Mexico is, the Walmarts are moving into Mexico, but I'm told it's still largely, their commerce is based in the 650,000 or so ma and pop stores. These are, connected to their homes. My sister calls them bodegas. It's the place where you stop every day to get your stuff. There might be 10 of them on a city block. Procter & Gamble's wants every one of those to be displaying all 11 of its top-selling products when you walk in the door, because that's what you're going to buy. What you see is what you're going to buy. Procter & Gamble doesn't pay any slotting fees to any of those stores to distribute those products. They do it all through social marketers. And before you sell any product to any bodega in Mexico, if you're going to be a distributor of P&G products, they send you to live with one of those ma and pop stores for 3.5 months. That's astonishing. I don't mean you visit them frequently over a period of weeks. I mean you move in with them. You wake up with them, you see what their day looks like, and then you go to bed. And then you know how to take care of those customers. Let me just have a quick show of hands. Who here believes that regular exercise is good for your health? Who here gets regular exercise? Actually, that's more in this crowd than in most crowds I've ever come across. But the principle that I want to illustrate is that beliefs does not equal behavior. That is, giving your target knowledge or raising your target audience's awareness may not get you where you want to be. Because after all, if knowledge alone were all that it took, nobody in this country would have continued smoking after 1964 when the first Surgeon General's report on smoking and health came out. 2, segmenting and targeting are key. If you aim at everyone, you will probably hit no one. It's not necessary to segment based on demographics or psychographics or any particular dimension. As a matter of fact, if you're after behavior change, consider segmenting based on behavior. Number 3, aim for targets of opportunity. That is, seize the chances to have the greatest impact for your investment. And number 4, I cannot overemphasize the value of consumer research. Before you can figure out how to get your priority group where you want them to be, you have to move in with them for 3.5 months. No, you really do have to understand where they are and what they want. Because if you learn only one thing from this session, it should be all of us do the things that we think will give us something we want. Change is based on exchange. That is, both parties receiving something they want. Most people are very practical, and when making choices, they ask, what's in it for me? Answering that question has to be key on your list. So, what does Nike offer you as a consumer? Image, vitality, adventure, fitness, belonging to the in crowd, overcoming obstacles, not just shoes. The benefit that Nike offers goes way beyond the product. And how does Nike know how to package those benefits? They start with research. What benefits do Marlboro's offer its consumers? Not cancer, emphysema, heart disease, and rotten teeth, but lifestyle, thinness, image. I think perhaps one of the most effective ad campaigns of all times was this one: reach for a Lucky instead of a sweet. Smoke these and you'll stay skinny. Look at that nasty shadow in the background. As a social marketer, your job is to always look for the benefits you can offer. The immediate, tangible, valuable benefits. Not long-term benefits. Those just don't do it. By nature, humans seek instant gratification. That's simply who we are. In general, the poorer we are, the younger we are, the less we defer gratification. And that's why telling kids, that they might die of lung cancer in 20 years doesn't keep them smoke-free. What products does Coke offer? Are they selling, well, the product actually is flavored carbonated calorie water, but the benefits that Coke offers include fun, refreshment, connection, attractiveness, and youthfulness. There was a very, very successful social marketing campaign. Florida was the second state in the nation to settle its lawsuit against the big tobacco companies. And as part of the settlement, they got funds specifically for a tobacco control campaign aimed at young people. So they sat down to figure out how to do that, and they quickly realized that young people in Florida already knew that smoking was bad for them, and yet smoking prevalence was rising. Now, what do tobacco companies offer young people? Independence, rebellion, glamour, sex appeal, cool, hip, relief from stress, thinness. What do anti-smoking groups offer? Longer life, keeping parents happy, fresher breath, not very competitive it seems. The issue for tobacco control became being able to offer more of what those kids really wanted. Because if we were ever going to win this war, we had to undermine tobacco companies and beef up the no smoking benefits, or take back control over defining the benefits of tobacco companies. And what they created in Florida became the Truth Campaign, those edgy ads that really were designed and produced by kids for kids. They took 1,200 body bags and laid them in the street outside of Philip Morris's headquarters in New York City and got on a bullhorn and hollered up at the tobacco executives on the top floors that this was how many people dying from their products in this country every day. They exposed manipulation. So you could go back to the allure of smoking and cross out independence and rebellion. And did it work? During the 1 year the campaign was in full force in Florida, there was a 19% decline in cigarette smoking among middle school youth, 12 to 15 years old, and an 8% decline among high schoolers, 16 to 18. If somebody made a pill that did that, they would be a very wealthy person. Of course, for all of our trouble in Florida, Governor Jeb Bush zeroed out the entire campaign. Luckily, it was taken up at a national level by the American Legacy Foundation, and you still see some of those ads running today. This is how we are going to track our decisions and plans and progress in the Behave framework. Behave is one of those open source tools. And as you can see from this slide, the organizing tool shows the decisions that you're going to make when you plan a behavior change intervention. This represents the logic behind your effort. Because again, the biggest mistake that behavior change agents make is saying what they want to say instead of what their target audience needs to hear. It's a side effect of being mission-driven, sort of egocentric, inwardly focused. So what we're going to do today is enforce the discipline of getting out of your own head and into the heads of your target.